We are creators by design. We create with our voice, with our energy, and with our intention. If you think about everything around you, everything started as a thought in someone else's mind. And through a series of steps or actions, it manifested into reality. Manifestation is a law of the universe, but it's a law that works best when we're aligned with God's plan, not our ego's timeline. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to the Awakened Entrepreneur Show. This is Juan Galan, your host, and I'm back for another solo episode in my living room with my doggy over here. I don't know if you can see him or not. But anyways, today I want to talk about something that gets thrown out a lot, but that also gets misunderstood a lot, and that I am so passionate about: manifestation. I'm sure you've heard about what manifestation is and how to manifest, and maybe you've tried to manifest things, maybe you've manifested things, or maybe you haven't. So we're going to be talking about how to manifest, why you can't manifest, and so many other juicy things. Some people think that in order to manifest things, you need to write down a desire 55 times into your journal and wait for it to magically appear. Others think it's demonic or selfish. But here's what I've learned both from my personal journey and the deeper spiritual and scientific lens I've explored this through. Manifestation is not about getting what you want. It's about remembering who you are. It's about aligning with what God has already placed in your path. And it's about co-creating your life with trust, surrender, and divine action. And in case you missed last week's episode, I did an entire one about surrendering, detaching, and trusting. So if you haven't listened to that yet, go listen to it now and then come back to this episode, because that's going to serve you as the foundation really for what we're going to be talking about today. So let's break this down. What is manifestation? In my opinion, manifestation is simply turning a thought into form. It's when an inner vision or desire becomes a physical experience. But here's the thing, it's not just about you. You're not manifesting on your own. You're co-creating with God. Every single thing we build, our businesses, our relationships, our income, it's a collaboration between our intention and God's divine orchestration. So if you look at the very first chapter in the Bible, Genesis, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. This is manifestation. The universe was created through vibration, through the word. So when some people say manifestation isn't biblical, I respectfully disagree. Because if we were made in the image of God, we are creators by design. We create with our voice, with our energy, and with our intention. If you think about everything around you, everything started as a thought in someone else's mind. And through a series of steps or actions, it manifested into reality. Manifestation is a law of the universe, but it's a law that works best when we're aligned with God's plan, not our ego's timeline. And now we're gonna go deeper and get a little bit nerdy, because this stuff fascinates me, and it's the neuroscience behind manifestation. Nowadays, we have science to show us how our brain functions when it comes to manifestation. So once again, we're not talking about magic, we're not talking about demonic energies, we're talking about science and the way that our brain behaves when we set an intention. So every thought you think creates an electrical signal in your brain. When you maintain or sustain this thought for long periods of time, your brain starts producing chemicals that match this signal. This is what we call emotions. And these chemicals are wired into our nervous system, and they begin to shape our beliefs. And our beliefs shape our reality. What we believe is what we see. And this is because beliefs filter our reality through something called the RAS, the reticular activating system. So I'm going to give you a few examples. Let's say that you have this new idea or intention that you want to travel to the Maldives. And all of a sudden, you start seeing things about the Maldives everywhere. You start seeing posters, travel agencies, someone talks about it. You listen to it on the radio, maybe it shows up on Instagram. That is your RAS at work. You train your brain to notice what is already around you. I'm going to give you another example. Let's say that you really want to manifest a specific type of partner into your life. You know exactly what this person looks like, does, where they hang out, etc. So if you know where they hang out, you might start going to more places like this. And then all of a sudden, your brain hears someone speaking about something that catches your attention. And this someone happens to know someone who is exactly like the person you've been trying to manifest. That is not magic. That is your brain in action, looking for signals, for opportunities, for signs, because they're always there. That is manifestation. When you truly believe in something, your brain starts seeing, speaking, and aligning with the people, opportunities, and actions that bring that desire to life. So if it is that simple, if it's really science, why isn't it working for most people? And I know it because I've been there. I did all the right things, and I really struggled to manifest for many, many years. And the number one reason for manifestation not working is because you're too attached to the outcome. Once again, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, go watch it now. Go listen to it now, because it's going to serve as the foundation for this. If you're too attached to the outcome, if you don't know how to surrender the outcome and to trust God, the universe, or your higher power, then you're not going to be able to manifest anything, because you're basically saying, I don't trust God. I don't trust in divine timing. I don't trust that I am being led. And this is where resistance is born, because control creates friction, and friction blocks flow. There is an energetic resistance. The second reason why most people struggle to manifest is because what they want isn't truly aligned with their higher purpose. So sometimes you think you want something. Again, let's talk about the partner. You really want this partner. You really want this person. And then you meet someone like that, right? But things don't work out. Well, maybe it's not in your higher path to be with someone like that. You just haven't learned that yet. Or maybe you want something because someone else has it as well. Or you want to achieve something because you saw someone else achieve it. But it doesn't mean that it's truly what you desire. And this is coming from your ego and not from your soul. And God, in all His grace, won't give you something that will destroy your purpose. The third reason is that you have subconscious blocks. So yes, you might say you want a six-figure business, and you might do all the affirmations, recitals, vision board, whatever. But if you, deep inside, you don't feel worthy enough of holding this abundance, your nervous system will end up sabotaging it before it arrives. You'll procrastinate, you'll shrink, you will ghost your own greatness. That's why inner healing is key. And I do have another episode where I talk about how to start your inner healing journey and how I started mine as well. So I'm gonna share it in the show notes as well to make sure that once you finish this episode, you go listen to that one. So I want to give you an example of something that I manifested because my brain was already looking for opportunities everywhere. So for some time now, I had this intention of closing down my business in Spain and setting it up somewhere else where I could pay very low or no taxes at all. I knew that Dubai was an option, Singapore, Hong Kong, the US, but I didn't really know which place would be the best one for me. So again, I was not attached to an outcome. I had the intention, but I was just looking for opportunities. And when I went to Bali, I was talking to people about it. I was sharing the things that I had read and discovered. And one day, all of a sudden, someone from Instagram messaged me and told me, "Hey Juan, been following you for a while. Let's meet up for coffee." Sure. So we met up for coffee. We had a great conversation. One thing led to another. And we ended up talking about how he set up his business in Dubai. And I was like, wow, I've been looking for information about this, and can you share more? So he actually gave me the contact of the person they worked with. I got in touch with them, and that's how I ended up finally manifesting my business setup in Dubai. As you can see, I was not attached to a specific place. I was taking action every single time. And then my brain was looking for opportunities everywhere until it found the opportunity. So now, based on everything that I said before and why manifestation isn't working for you, I'm going to give you a few steps on what you can do to actually manifest. Number one is detach. Let go of the grip of how it's going to look. Surrender the outcome to something bigger than you. Surrender it to God. Surrender it to the universe, to the higher power, to whatever you believe. But this is not your job. Your job is only to have the intention and take inspired action. Number 2 is to rewire your beliefs. And the best way to rewire your beliefs is to start acting from the identity of someone who already has what you desire. Okay, and this is something that I practice a lot. My goal is to achieve $100,000 months or 6-figure months. Okay, and every time I enter into fear when it comes to making a business decision, for example, I think, am I making this decision from fear and the current situation or current Juan that is feeling fear, or am I making this decision based on what the 6-figure month Juan would do? And also, what would 6-figure per month Juan would tell the current Juan? And it's always going to be to take the risk, to take action, to go for it, always. So the more you start acting like that, the more you start rewiring your beliefs around what you want to manifest. The third step is to heal your inner blocks. If you don't do the inner work, if you don't heal, it doesn't matter how many times you visualize, how many vision boards you create, how many things you do, your nervous system will always keep you stuck in your safe zone. So do the inner child work, heal the trauma, because you won't hold what you don't feel safe to receive. Number 4 is to invite God into your vision. Pray, listen, look for his signs everywhere. He's always communicating with us. Take obedient action, even if it doesn't make sense logically. God's plan will always be better than your strategy. And number 5 is to let your energy match your faith. Manifestation isn't about begging, it's about becoming. And now that I'm talking about begging, I want to open parentheses and talk about prayer. Prayer is a form of manifestation. You're asking God to help you manifest something. The problem is that when this prayer comes from a place of scarcity, from a place of fear, from a place of lack, you're already telling God and your subconscious as well that you're not worthy of that it's not going to happen, that you don't have it yet. So praying has to come from a place of being, of gratitude, of telling God, thank you, God, because I already have this. I am worthy of receiving this. It's already here. So do you see the difference? You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So remember, you were created in the image of the divine, which means you were created to create. Manifestation isn't magic, it's your birthright, it's the way our brains work, but only when rooted in trust, alignment, and surrender. So speak life, align your actions, detach from outcomes, and partner with God on the vision that He has already planned for you. Because when your will aligns with His, that's when manifestation becomes inevitable. So friend, if this episode stirred something in you, I've got a gift that's gonna help you take this deeper. It's called the Aligned Manifestation Playbook, and you can find it in the show notes or the description of the video in YouTube. And this is a guided workbook to help you release attachment, rewire your beliefs, and co-create your desires with God. And if you are ready for a more personalized support, book a free visibility roadmap call with me. We'll map out what's keeping you hidden, stuck, and uncover the beliefs blocking you from your next level so that we can create a plan to rise into the business and impact that you're called to lead. One last thing before we go. If you're new here, please subscribe on YouTube, share this video with someone that's been struggling with manifestation, leave a comment. What was your biggest aha moment? If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, subscribe to the podcast, give me a review, share a comment. This will really help me bring this vision into more and more beautiful souls out there. So friend, thank you so much for your time. As always, I love you. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this journey, of your journey, and I will see you next week for more. Bye.